Welcome back. As we promised, we are going to cover together the report of the second follow-up of Nuwafi, which is a link between food and energy projects. The report was presented by Her Excellency Dr. Rania Al-Mashat, Minister of Planning and International Cooperation, and in high-profile event which took place with the attendance of Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli and a number of top executives. Let's know more about the whole issue and discuss the outcomes of this report and the importance of the follow-up. It's not ink on paper, it's a platform implemented on the ground with its pillars and elements, and it's really directed to boost our economy in those very, let's say, vital pillars or vital sectors, food and energy. To shed more light on this, we are very much delighted to have with us via phone His Excellency Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Thank you very much for being with us, sir. A very good morning and happy Ramadan, sir.
Good morning. It's my pleasure. How are you?
Sir, starting with what I said in my intro, I mean, Nuwafi is a platform food and energy linked project. But before going into the details of this platform, I was really impressed with what was said during the speech of Her Excellency Dr. Rania Al-Mashat or His Excellency Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli. And it really is that obvious that the word follow-up, it's not only a word, it's something which is practically implemented on the ground. How do you see the importance of following up all our platforms or all our initiatives implemented on the ground, sir?
Yes, because energy is becoming a sort of international interest everywhere. We cannot live without energy. And we are lucky in Egypt because we are clever on one side, and that God bless us and gave us plenty of wealth on energy. Our discoveries lately about gas in the eastern part of the Mediterranean are tremendous. Also, we are making a project which is not well known, that connecting the electric net among all the Arab countries, starting from far east in Baghdad up till far west in Casablanca, using the difference in timing. Because when Baghdad stopped using electricity at midnight, it is still at 10 o'clock in Cairo. So, and so on. Between Cairo is different between Cairo and Casablanca. This is one side. Another is the discoveries of oil and gas, which is tremendous lately. And now we established an organization of the gas of the East Mediterranean, and the siege is in Cairo, between Egypt, Greece, Cyprus, Malta, and many countries attended this.
Mm-hmm.
Now Egypt is a candidature to supply energy to Europe, and we started 2 lines to supply energy to Europe. One is the gas supply, the other is electricity, also going through Greece and Cyprus. So we have this project which is really supported by the government.
Yeah.
Here also the Prime Minister was talking about a very interesting program, which is that we are going to encourage the private sector to deal with all our development matters. We are here in the middle of a good choice between what we call the state-led economy or a market-oriented economy. And some
would you
of
please,
us,
sir, would you raise your voice a little bit?
Pardon?
I can't hear you well.
I am doing my best. Can you hear me now?
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I say that we are choosing between the state-led economy and the market-oriented economy.
Mm-hmm.
No country in the world now is applying the theory of state-led economy, because now even China, even Russia, China have 130,000 multimillionaires it was not used to be there like that. So we are encouraging the private sector in order to do its best and to be a good part of our development projects.
But to encourage the private
A good,
sector, sir,
yeah.
to invade or to enter into a new market, it's not something easy. And when we talk about renewable energy and particularly green hydrogen, green energy or green transformation, green economy, it's until the moment relatively at least brand new. Do you think that it's going to continue on the ground being easy to attract more investors, whether, by the way, Egyptians or Arab or foreign investors to invest in Egypt in this sector in specific?
We are doing our best, but we have a problem here because those who are playing a bad role concerning the environment are the big industrial countries. United States and China are making very bad industries which gives nitrogen in our air, and we are a victim for this. Although we are about to make all our industries without any bad practices against our environment. Mm-hmm. So we have a problem. And if you follow what they are saying in the mass media, even in Europe, because if you want to respect the environment, it costs money. You have to change many things in your car. You have to change many things in many industries. Mm-hmm. So environment is really the issue, and we are here victims, not doing anything against environment.
What we are really keen to do, sir, is to boost our economic relations, whether with Arab or European allies. And here there are only few examples I'm going to mention. Expanding the Nuwafi platform is a key element of our commitment. 4 new projects added, including 2 renewable energy ventures by a Norway's company and renewable energy project by another Arab one in Zafarana seawater desalination plant in El Ain Sukhna, among others. How do you see the diversity of our partners, sir? And here I'd like to talk about what we call economic diplomacy.
Yes, we made a story of success concerning our trade relations with many partners. We have, of course, the Arab Free Trade Area of 18 Arab countries. We have the total Africa Free Trade Area. We used to be a member of the COMESA, Common Market of East and South Africa. Now, after the initiative of our president in 2019 in the African Summit, we declared to establish the big One Africa Free Trade Area. 51 countries. Yeah. This is a huge market of 1,200 million inhabitants. Also, we have the big success with our agreement, the association agreement with the EU, European Union.
Our strategic partnership with the EU.
I'm proud of this because I was part of it. And now our exports to Europe increased by 4 times. Our exports to Africa and to the Arab countries are tremendously exceeded before. And the good thing with our relations with the Arabs and Africa, that we have a trade surplus for the sake of Egypt. Mm-hmm. Now we are here, need a lot of efforts concerning investment. We are still far beyond what we should do concerning investment. We want to invite people to come and to invest in many fields, especially energy and many other things. Yeah. Because we did all our best concerning trade. Investment is the word. And by the way, the Arab coming summit, the Arab coming economic summit, is asking us in our Arab investors union to give them some advices. What do we need here to make the Arab relations much more effective. My opinion, which I will send it to the Arab League, that we did our best for trade. Still, we have a long way to do concerning investment. Do we make all the necessary environment in Egypt for an investor? Do we have enough energy? Do we have enough land to
and are we committed to the outcomes of the COP summits we had, since the one we had in Egypt, at least in COP27 in 2022? Because simply I can easily say that Nuwafi is one of the outcomes of COP27. How do you see it as a platform or as projects implemented under its umbrella, as putting Egypt in its position in the international or global climate change arena in general?
We are doing our best, but as I said, in Egypt and in Africa and the Arab world in general, we are not the big industrial countries. The big industrial countries are doing very bad to the environment question. So we have to continue knocking the door and establishing all our industries based on respecting the environment necessities. So, but we have a very good reputation. We have a very active diplomacy, especially now we have the presidential diplomacy, which were lacking before our revolution. And now we are doing very good diplomacy, as a matter of fact. And I must tell you one good thing about our diplomacy, that Cairo is becoming one of the largest capitals hosting foreign missions, whether embassies or representatives of many organizations and international organization and regional organization.
And also the government increased the share of the green projects in the national budget to 50% by the end of the current fiscal year. Satisfied with the number, sir, or it's only a first step in a long road?
Yes, we have many steps to do, and we are aware. The good thing that we are aware. We know what we have to do, but it's not easy. And we have to knock the door all the time. It's not the government, it's every one of us to help this whole organization of making a good environment. So I know that it is one step, but we know the road and we shall continue it.
But we cannot deny that the climate change is now a threat, and the whole world knows that it's a threat, and unfortunately it changed the lives of millions of people in a very negative manner. And when we say that we in Egypt are pioneers in recognizing this problem and try to solve it on the ground via many efforts exerted, I think this is saying a lot about Egypt 2030, about the sustainability or the sustainable development goals we are all the time working on, and we are working on to realize, on the ground. True?
Yes, it's true. You are absolutely right. But still, I must repeat that we are victims. We are not doing bad to the environment. The big industrialized countries in the States, in Europe and China, are the worst practices concerning the environment because of their industries, which does not abide to the environment necessities.
Sir, also the efforts exerted by Egypt made Egypt gain the trust of the international economic institutions like the IMF and the World Bank, and now it's very much easy to have more coordination and collaboration between Egypt and the mentioned institutions, because whether it's our resilient economy or the reform programs we already implemented, or the will to continue with such relatively new fields like renewable energy. If you want to also elaborate on that and on the relation between Egypt, or the cooperation between Egypt and, as I mentioned, as only examples, the IMF and the World Bank.
we have a very good reputation and also a very good experience with the IMF and the World Bank. Although this is not the opinion of the mass media or some of the public opinion, and they call it the International Misery Fund. No, we have very good experience with the fund, and they are lately they were revising our efforts in our economic development, and they are so happy with it. That's why they are giving us the last tranche of the finance by $1.2 billion. This means that we are doing well, that the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank are satisfied with what Egypt is doing. So I hope this will be something which the mass media will reflect on, and that the public opinion also will realize that we are doing fine in all these sectors. So in our development programs, we respect all these needs, and we are doing fine.
And we answer all the rumors or the false reports by the development process taking place on the ground. I mean, the practical answers, in my humble opinion, is much better than the words. Deeds speaks louder. And sir, if you also permit me to hint to these statements released all the time by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in many occasions. When the green hydrogen is mentioned, he's always saying that this is the future. This is the future fuel, and we are all the time coping with the latest. And in many occasions when he had summits with his counterparts, whether from the Arab or the Western arenas, he was very much keen to sign accords and to sign deals and to guarantee that cooperation between us and other allies from all over the world is going to be very much fruitful and a win-win situation. How do you evaluate this, sir?
Yes, and here I reflect on our relation with the European Union. They are highly satisfied with our practicing in many things, such as illegal migration, such as environment, such as organized crime, and they come and to help Egypt with finance and grants also concerning this. I want here to mention a very good experience of Egypt with the International Monetary Fund in the 90s. We lived there where we were heavily indebted to the world, and with the help of the IMF and what they call the Paris Club, we reduced our debts by 50%, and we made a sort of grace period of 7 years. We didn't pay anything, and then we reduced also the interest rate from 14% to 3%, and it was a story of success of Egypt with the IMF. So our relations with the international organization, with the regional organization, such as Europe or the Arab world or Africa, is very good, and we are doing fine. The problem is
also,
the
sir,
big shocks of the economy of the world, that they do not respect our environment needs.
Sir, also my final question to you about the keenness of the state to make sure that vocational training, that qualifying the youth cadets to be able to shoulder the responsibility of such platforms or such projects is always a first priority. And to make sure that whenever there is an innovative idea, whenever that we have youth thinking out of the box, they are going to have the chance and they are going to have a place in our economic development process. If you want to elaborate on this too.
Yes, I am happy that you raise this question, and training and building capacity of the people also is very good. And I have a personal experience. I was heading a project which is called assistant to the Egyptian government institutions. It is a sort of training project. I was leading this, with a grant of Europe 92 million euros. We spend it on training everywhere. I do not recall any institution in the government, the Egyptian government, which we did not help. Whether it is environment, whether it is the garbage, we gave it to Germany to help us how to use garbage to produce energy. Concerning transport, concerning water, concerning electricity, every single thing which can come to your mind, we were helping them. The Central Bank of Egypt used our experience. We sort of twinning with the Central Bank of Europe. Every single institution in the Egyptian government, we tried to help them, and I think that was a story of success. Main part of it was training people in order to deal with the new international standards of doing business.
Well, Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, thank you very much for your input, sir. Have a very good day, and once again, happy Ramadan. We were very much delighted to have with us by phone His Excellency Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, former Assistant Foreign Minister.